Hello everyone, long time no see. Hope y'all are having an incredible year so far. But anyway, welcome back for another episode of the Anime Podcast Show. And wow, we're in the 19th episode already, and we are already in the 4th season of the show. That is super crazy. So let's get started with the show with the first segment, and that is what anime shows that I got into during the COVID pandemic. This incredible supernatural horror type story. But what is the name of this particular show I am referring to all this horror supernatural thing? But I'm calling it The Promised Neverland. The Promised Neverland is about far away to the future after an agreement called The Promise. The Promise was the end of a long war between humans and demons. And self-contained orphanage housing 40 kids, our main cast of characters named Emma, Ray, and Norman. They are living their normal lives in their home with their mother, mom, or Isabella, taking care of them with food, plush beds, clean clothes, games, including their education. With their education is very important to their development until it gets crazy and crazier because one night, a little girl named Connie, she sent away to be adopted, but Emma and Norman found with her favorite stuffed animal, she accidentally left it there when they arrived to the gate. Holy shit. They found her goddamn body. And Emma and Norman discovered the truth about their home, so they had a plan to escape with the other kids. And that's what the story's about. But anyway, interesting though, who had the license for internationally? Well, in the US, they licensed by Aniplex of America and began streaming it on Crunchyroll, Hulu, and Funimation, and High Dive on January 9th, 2019. Well, Funimation added the dub on July 1st of 2020. And here's a fun fact about that. If you didn't remember that they broadcast the show on television on Toonami on April of 2019 and April of 2021. And now Netflix got the license to stream it only for the US, Canada, and Latin America. For Australia, they distribute the show and simulcast it on Anime Lab. By the time, it's already done already, but if you guys don't know that the UK and Australia, our Funimations are with Crunchyroll now. So now the whole world is Crunchyroll, right? And merged together. That's a very stupid, complex agreement they did for the streaming services and everything else. So anyway, and not only for Australia, but like I mentioned about the UK, they licensed by Anime Limited, but don't know where they're streaming it. But I believe they have it on DVD and Blu-ray over there, but I don't know. But for us, we do. For the show itself, the first season is followed closely to the manga and covers the first chapter of the manga all the way to chapter 37. Then the second season, I would say, is kind of an abridged version of the events throughout of season 2, which takes place between chapters 38 to chapter 181. But they changed it up a little bit. Why did they do that? They changed the plot, including the major arcs, such as the Goldie Pond, Seven Walls, and Battle Against the Demon Queen. But what's the reason for it? Well, possibly the creator of the show, he decided we don't want to do the entirety of the arcs, so we just want to speed it up throughout the show. So I think that's what they want to do. I don't know. I don't know what's their full reason they did it, but that's what the instructions they gotten when they were animated it. So anyway, what's to mention about this as well? Well, if you don't know, that in Japan, they did a live-action movie of The Promised Neverland, and it's kind of, okay, why did you do that? And another thing is that they want to make an American TV show on The Promised Neverland, and it's going to be produced and coming on Amazon Prime. Like, really? You have to do that? That is the most dumbest idea I've ever heard. Like, seriously. But anyway, what was my interest with the series? Well, let's go back in time in mid of 2019. So, as of the hype back in 2019, everyone said for the first season, it was amazing. That's what I heard about. But after the end of their run, a second season got greenlit, and the hype train is still going. And going for the release date of October of 2020. But due to the pandemic, they delayed the show, and the production went very bad. Then the production got underway during COVID, and got released on January of 2021. And the result? The hype train is dead. But thank God I started watching it around 3 months before the second season aired. But at the end, it got me disappointed. But still, it's a great series, and that was my interest, the Promised Neverland series. So let's move on to the next segment of the show. Alright, the next segment, and that will be Topic of the Week. So, during the past few months or days, I would believe, but I've been saying what would be a great list to list what's been happening in the anime industry. Well, there has been some great, there's some good, but there has been some, but this time around I'm looking at some disrespect or disgraceful moments in anime history. I did not say the worst, but I'm just saying. But you'll get the point throughout of this statement. But anyway, I'm talking about like such as shows, movies, or even the anime seasons that we got throughout the years we had. Well, whatever I can speak about, but let's start with the first. I would say the top 10. I would believe. But I have to start with the retelling movies of Dragon Ball Z, of Dragon Ball Super. As a revival of the franchise, Dragon Ball has returned to their main standard after a bad reception of Dragon Ball Evolution, their live-action movie, I believe. The first animated film since 1996, the Path to Power movie. Also, the first two films produced with Akira Toriyama's involvement, a sequel to Dragon Ball Z, and it became two successful box office anime films ever, until when they announced for a new TV show is coming. Everyone was so gasped, and the results from the first episode of Super, it went mostly positive. And it's great to see the franchise back, that kids to middle school students, to high school students, people who grew up with Dragon Ball, watching back in the day, and their favorite show is back on the air, that is super great. After that, people never expected this is going to happen, but the last time they were on the air was around their final episode of GT in 1997. But disregard that, this is, for GT, it's a filler storyline, not canon of Dragon Ball Z. So I bet that when we get to from this half of the story to when we meet Oob in the when we got to see Oob in the Dragon Ball Z's their final episodes in the World Tournament saga. Oh, sorry, not saga. World Tournament, martial arts tournament they attended, and that's when Goku left, and after that, Goku didn't see them again. Well, when you get to GT, he did see them again, but he transformed back into a little kid like he was in the original Dragon Ball series. But anywho, this is not what the fans wanted, what they did. But they want to adapt the Battle of Gods and Resurrection F movies into the first two arcs of Dragon Ball Super, with plot lines from the films into forming multiple episodes early on to the broadcast. Like, seriously? You really need to adapt all of that? And want to just cram in, like, smash into scenes like what they did for Demon Slayer, the Mugen Train movie, and, of course, the other movie they did. I forgot what it was. But But anyway, yeah, why don't they just do something like that with Demon Slayer? But, well, it didn't go too well. So they have to reanimate it and restructure the entire story. And that's the result we gotten. So that is with Dragon Ball Super for me. The top 9 list. Oh, goody. Okay, then. One of the most recent shows that I'm currently watching right now, and if you all know or don't know, I'm watching Detective Conan / Case Closed. But I don't know if you know that before we talk about this, but before we talk about this particular dub, there was another dub out there, and it was originally going to broadcast on Fox Kids in 2000. I think it was in my sources. I'm correct. Is they were going to broadcast on Fox Kids in September of 2000. That's a very rare information that you will be receiving. But no, but yes, it was. And my guess was going to be with the original cast. I would say the cast from the Ocean Group, I believe. Because I'll put down the link below if you haven't seen that trailer, the promo trailer for the Ocean Productions dub. But, and of course that's not the version that we got. But the first dub, the first production for Case Closed that we gotten was the Funimation dub. I'm talking about one of the most cringiest dubs out there. Why did I say it's cringe? I'm not talking about the current dub with Bang Zoom, but I'm talking about the Funimation dub. Reason? Well, here's my reason. Why I'm saying is that the way of the direction of dubbing back in the day, here's what happened. In the year of 2003, the first 104 episodes were licensed by Funimation for the US fans only, under the title Case Closed. Because of legal reasons, all Japanese names were all Americanized. The show is debuted on TV, airing on Adult Swim in 2004, the following year. No more than 50 episodes stopped airing it due to low ratings. But between 2005 to 2010, they kept going throughout the show. Until in their final release of one of their DVDs called The Phantom of Baker Street, that was the last thing they dubbed. And they'd released the show on DVD since then. And then after 2010, Funimation doesn't have the license anymore. And it's unlikely that the dub cast are not reprising their roles for the show right now. So I'm very glad that we got the current cast right now for Bang Zoom. But if you guys haven't seen it, go watch it on Amazon Prime and so many streaming platforms you can find. Alright, for number 8. Ooh, this is a very controversial topic I want to mention. Is that, of course, it happened around of 2019. Well, and then they kind of announced it in 2018, I believe. But one of their biggest acclaimed and I would say impacted in history that rocked with their robotic robot series, Evangelion, or Neon Genesis Evangelion, or Eva. The most craziest controversy happened that around 2019 when Netflix got the license to re-release the series. But here's the outrage. A lot of big changes. Like Fly Me to the Moon song due to the music license. The dub cast, etc. But I'm very sad that we didn't get the cast that we got. Like, we thought that the original cast were going to reprise their roles, or they're going to reuse the old dub, put it on Netflix. But Genion was like, okay, we're going to redub the entire we want them to redub the entire thing, and that's that. Why? That's the stupidest reason I ever heard. Anyway, for my number 7 in the list, newer fans are not interested of returning franchises such as Bleach, Naruto, etc. I know everyone got their own different opinions with this particular point, because older fans will know that Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece were the big 3 Shonen Jump franchises, but newer fans don't know what is the big 3. Well, it's a worldwide popular manga properties featured three main protagonist characters, named Ichigo, Naruto, and Luffy. But here's an example. Before Bleach came out to the picture, Hunter x Hunter sold more volumes, just saying, but still they kept their position in the covers. Due to the overall popularity for a long-running anime series, if you newer fans saying Bleach got more episodes, oh come on people, the show got only 366 episodes, but due to Bleach's return this coming October, doesn't matter. But Naruto series itself got over 940 episodes, and One Piece has obviously over surpassed 1,000 episodes. And in the last show, wanted to mention for this point is Yashihime, a sequel to Inuyasha. Because if you people saying, oh, it's a sequel to Inuyasha, and it's gonna be like Boruto, I'm like, oh, why'd you say that? And some of the chapters that never got adapted in the manga, well, never got adapted to an anime, they put it to Yashihime. Or, like, they didn't adapt anything to the original and the Final Act show. So they saved it for the spin-off. And the other spin-off, as I just mentioned earlier, is Boruto Naruto Next Generation series. And people are not interested to watch it after shipping it because a week after the big massive hit turned into the worst Next Generation series, because straight away to work on a sequel series, no way. But no wait, until a couple of years after shipping it, they should. But look at Yashihime. It was years after Final Act ended. Well, it took like a 10-year gap between the Final Act and the Yashihime. So, but a week gap after shipping it? No way. People won't be interested to look at it. But man, I have to get that out of my goddamn chest. But anyway, let's go to number 6 in the list. Variety anime shows late 90s and early 2000s weird edits. Before the streaming services for anime, we used to watch anime on national television. To see your favorite shows on the air, if you remember Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Robotech, etc. But back in the day, we have a deal with their edits, such as from Sailor Moon that Sailor Neptune and Uranus were cousins. In Yu-Gi-Oh!, instead of death or kill, they say Shadow Realm. They had so many changes, such as name changes, Americanized music, dropout episodes due to their content, also messing up the animation. Well, look at freaking comparison of Tokyo Ghoul. A lot of violence and sexual content, and they can't show it on national television. But as kids, as we were back then, but some shows to do it to this day, yeah. That's crazy. But here's one example I'm talking about. Before we talk about the next show in the list, I want to mention about this. Look at Sword Art Online Season 1, Episode 24. In my ABC, or Australian broadcast here in Australia, we rerun of SAO for the first season only, because for Season 2 and 3, because there were a bit of violence too. So we couldn't cram it all together, and we're gonna show it to kids. So here's a weird thing. I remember when they rerun the broadcast, it's funny enough. It was right hours before Supernova happened. I've witnessed something was wrong. Let me show you why. As you can see the footage after Kirito got stabbed, why did they cut that scene? So they just go straight away to the action. And here's another example. In Dragon Ball Super Dub, when I saw it on ABC Me, here's the stupidest thing I ever heard. When they broadcast those episodes, when Goku said, hell yeah. But in the alternative version, he said, oh yeah. I'm like, huh? Really? But anyway, that is my point about weird edits of anime. Alright, for the top 5 list already. And like on the last topic I was talking about is Sword Art Online, the fairy dance stuff. Well, the fairy dance arc. The next one just mentioned is the second arc of Sword Art Online Fairy Dance. what the hell happened after the climax of the Ironclad arc? Now, we got this. It's Elfheim. It's a mix of liking and disliking it. Well, in people's reaction, when this came out, it's boring. Not that interesting, and the way they told it, and most of you, I would say most of you skipped this arc. I believe that. But in my opinion about it is, it's not that great. But when I first watched it, it was great. But then when you watch it like multiple times, you're gonna dislike it. And hang on for a bit. That see what Lifa and Kirito, like, okay, she thought he's a random guy. She thought that he's a random hot dude. But in reality, she found out that her brother / cousin, and it got pretty weird. That is my own point of shit. Like, really, you really need to talk about that? I don't wanna talk about that anymore. Let's move on. Alright, the next one is the animation errors of 7 Deadly Sins of top 4. Well, it's come down to this. 7 Deadly Sins, one of the greatest series that was acquired the license by Netflix. For the first 2 seasons by A1 Pictures, the same production who worked on Fairy Tail, Sword Art Online, and Blue Exorcist. And for the 3rd and 4th seasons, Wrath of the Gods and Dragon's Judgment by Studio Dean, the same people who produced the first 2 seasons of Konosuba, an OVA of Rurouni Kenshin, Trust and Betrayal, Sailor Moon internal movie team up with Toei Animation, and including the brand new movie that was announced a couple weeks ago, or months by the time of this video is out. Sailor Moon Cosmos, that will be coming out in sometime of early next year. That's great. It was supposed to be one of the greatest fights in the show. It's between Meliodas versus Escanor. And the animation is so goddamn terrible. The way they structure the scene, I'm saying it is bad at acting well. Well, Studio Dean learned their lesson during the production of the final season, the Dragon's Judgment arc. Well, do not ever disappoint the fans ever again. But they did a good job of the final season, and it's freaking great, including their first, well, I would say one of the best feature films they ever done, Cursed by Light. Well, the top 3 list, people. I have to give this, fam, but one of the best and graphic novel, well, I wouldn't say graphic novel, but I would say graphic manga series ever in history, named Berserk. To adapt the series back in the day in the late 90s, as it was a acclaimed hit and best English dub until they came back their huge return in 2 decades later, and it was going to be the biggest comeback in anime format in 2016. But after this disgraceful series adapted the Conviction arc and the Falcon of the Millennium Empire arcs. When that came out, mostly goddamn negative due to the animation sales, and the CGI was so goddamn horrible and the worst. I'm just like, why this exist? At the moment now, after a year of Kentara's passing, like, they would not adapt Berserk anymore. One of the most beloved mangas. I can't talk more about the Berserk 2016 series, but let's move on. Oh boy, number 2. God damn it, I hate this. I hate talking about this all the time, but it is about one, the only, worst dubs of all time, is 4Kids' dub of One Piece. Of a loss to its touch of English dubs, this one is the most laughable, poor translations, and the dub itself, not much dramatic moments throughout of it. Reason why? Because they cut them out. So, what happened to their dub? Well, after the disrespect what 4Kids did to the show, their dub was cancelled. So they went on to another production studio to dub, and it was produced a better dub from Funimation. But to this day, it's still one of the best dubs we ever gotten. I would say now, well done, Toei. You did an incredible decision you made. What a universe we are living in. But anyway, let's move on to the final and the worst disrespect moment in anime history. And you all know what is this list, but I have to talk about The Promised Neverland Season 2. For this show's topic earlier in the show is why Neverland? Why did you pick it? Well, take a look at the season itself. Reason why it's bad. Due to the author's decision to change everything from the manga. So he wants to skip 4 arcs as they are making as their own story. Also, so many changes, so many plot lines that doesn't make frickin' sense. As of the narrative to the story, and what can we say here? The frickin' time skip. Really? You really need to talk about the time skip? The ending itself, that's the most important moment in the finale for any anime show or series itself. It gave us this rubbish ending, and just like, what the hell was that? Seeing Emma and the other kids, and very surprising, what they're up to these days, and that was it. So that is my top 10 list of my disgrace or disrespectful properties in anime, seasons, movies, seasons, series, or whatever. Let's move on to the next segment. Alrighty then. Wanna go with this one. But the next segment is the oldest segment that never got used since the first episode, and I never spoke about it again until my birthday, March 22nd. As a treat, I got the chance to see this incredible masterpiece of a movie. But this name of the segment is Anime Films in Cinemas or Theaters. Before talking about this film, I'd originally gonna see Sword Art Online progressive movie, but couldn't find the dubs showing at my local theaters. But and then another thing is I forgot to talk about this is I got to see My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission, but at the time when I got to see it, I didn't put it on the show. The reason why I didn't put it on the show because at the time I was working on other anime podcast stuff, like as you saw my history of anime and my anniversary stuff. That's what's been going on, so that's why I couldn't get that segment back on the show. So I'm gonna put it on this episode, so that was perfect. So anyway, the film that I got to see was the Jujutsu Kaisen 0. What is the story about, anyway? Well, it sets up before the events of the main story of Jujutsu Kaisen. The characters we know from the show reprise their roles for the theatrical release. Based on the prequel manga, same title anyway, after being haunted by his cursed child friend, Yuta is recruited by Gojo to attend the mysterious Jutsu High. Let me say about the film, like it said, it was a great treat. Incredible movie, and what a masterpiece. Now, that's a movie. Also, want to mention about this. If you guys have or have not seen the film, a bit of a spoiler or not, but 2 moments was incredible. I'd enjoy. One is that the scene between Maki and Yuta, that's been the best. The reason why? Okay, I got like a hard spot on these characters, but Maki, goddamn, she is my waifu. Okay. Alright, fanboys. Okay. Don't boo at me. Hey. Don't boo at me. Stop it. Stop. Okay. Good. That's been the best. Like, their scenes were so good, and with the way they interact with each other, it's really great. And the other one is the rival scenes with Gojo and Geto. That was the best. Like, when they were having the conversation about the war, oh my god, it's like the best. And last thing I want to mention, but man, I want to see this film again when it's out on digital services. Uh, the the most part of the film I really enjoyed when, and like I mentioned just a second ago, that is when Geto declares war on the high school. It was a mind-blowing moment in anime theatrical movie in history. Well, I have to say let's say thank you to Demon Slayer, the Mugen Train movie, because if we didn't have a box office film like Demon Slayer, we won't be seeing these films ever. And also, we won't have big anime movies release opportunity with beautiful animation, great or incredible storylines that told in the manga or adapted from the manga, and or maybe an original story into a theatrical box office hit. And also, don't forget the music, man. The way they structure the story with their theme songs. That is my thoughts on the Jujutsu Kaisen the movie, or Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Alright, let's move on to the final segment before closing the episode, and that will be announcements. What has been announced throughout of 2022? Let's start with the segments. Well, it starts with this particular show into a theatrical film. I did talk about it previously. Well, Teaser Master Takagi-san, their movie is hitting cinemas in Japan on June 10th. But on the same day with another movie is Isekai Quartet the movie, Another World, will hit cinemas on the same day with Master Takagi-san movie. The story is about the characters from ReZero, Shield Hero, Konosuba, Saga of Tanya, and Overlord will be transported to another, I would say, an alternative universe due to a wormhole that sudden opened up in their classroom. When they arrive in the world that ruled by an out-of-control golem, I bet the film will be crazier and the crazy shenanigans that they're gonna have. Can't wait. Please get Kamiko to the film, please! I want to see her. Next is, this coming October, is My Hero Academia is back for their 6th season. And the biggest arc in the story is a paranormal liberation war, adapting chapters 253 to 306. Don't know what I can expect to see Deku and the gang for this crazy, wild story. Our next movie I want to mention is, I did mention about the Progressive movie, their first one. Well, their second movie got announced and got a title of the next film named Sucrose of Deep Night. And the film will be out in the fall of this year. Maybe around November or December of this year? I don't know. Well, here is my premonition of this particular story. And I heard rumors saying that this arc never got finished. I don't know why, but in my beliefs, I think it did get finished. But I don't know. That's what I heard. But anyway, let's talk about the next one. This one caused a controversy and announced by Netflix. Sorry, Netflix, I have to say this, but the next batch of episodes of JoJo Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean, on the fall of 2022. I know all JoJo fans will get pissed. Well, they got their own reasons. I don't want to talk about it, but if most of the fans will gets toxic. So let's move on to the last show. The last announcement is another controversy topic. Is say, well, you thought part 2 was over. Well, part 3 of the final season of Attack on Titan got announced. Oh, come on. I would say the hype train is already dead since the end of the 3rd season. Don't want to talk about that too. So, that is all for the announcements, and that is it for the show for today. I'll talk about more stuff very soon. And that's the end of this episode's topic or podcast, whatever. It's good to be back on the show. Got plenty of more stuff to talk about. Click that notification bell and hit and and subscribe to this incredible channel. Stay safe out there, and peace.